started it without you having your headphones on, because it's specifically I don't want to see your head, Bob. I don't like the fact that only you can hear it and I can. I was looking at it right now. I couldn't figure it out.
Just jealous.
No, that's exactly what I am. I'm saying that explicitly.
Such a jerk.
Because I like the opening theme song. You know?
Me too. Sounds great.
You're not a person I go to for support.
I'm glad.
Not for emotional support.
It'd be a terrible idea.
It doesn't. Do you want to introduce yourself?
By what? By name?
Oh my God. Well, not by your actual name. Because people might connect us.
Yeah, pseudonyms.
But, like, we should acknowledge that your presence.
This is the Holy Ghost.
I am present.
Don't take my mic away from me. Because I am more present. You actually have a much louder voice than me.
Really?
Yeah, like, I can hear your voice, like, so much better than mine.
Maybe if I,
He's a little bit more boisterous than you.
you know, I think I've had this microphone backwards this whole time.
No, I mean, I've had it set up the right way.
Wait. Okay, you know what? Let's not...
You
Fit
do
around.
have the setting wrong, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean. Like, this setting is maybe wrong.
Yeah, it is, because you've got it on to where it's reading out of both sides of the mic. And so it should be... No, that's the volume. The other one, look for the symbol on it.
Oh. It's exciting.
Technical difficulties. You're turning the wrong one. That's the volume.
God, it's just kidding.
That's the volume.
all the
Still on the volume. Turn the other knob. There.
There. You know what? I hear my voice much better.
There you go.
Hello, I am me.
Wow. That's a good introduction. Just keep it like that. Keep it vague. I also don't... I think we already given away, though, our names, where we're from.
Yeah,
probably
people
our
really
address.
care. Yeah.
I keep saying that I don't like to put that stuff out there, and then I keep letting it slip.
Yeah, it's happened a few times.
No. The internet's like detectives. They'll scour all this
Yeah.
stuff down.
Better not ever piss off Fortune.
You know, I'm glad you took that thing out of your mouth. I thought you were gonna do the whole thing like side mouthing, like
Really?
like
I'm more professional than that.
yeah. Well, you know, you're the sultry voice of this. We need you. You know, we need you talking clearly and sweetly to offset my screechy voice.
I told you my buddy thought you had a good radio voice.
Yep.
He said it was weird. So.
That's good. Like I'm like a Thin Mint, you know. It's like, oh, it's not really good, but it's like I'll take it. You know, chocolate and toothpaste.
Toothpaste. That is a weird. Yeah, I don't really like mints.
Yeah,
I don't understand why people like mint candies.
Chocolate. Yeah, I've only liked that once, and I was like pretty messed up. Like not. That's the only time I ever liked like mint chocolate.
Does that classify as liking something?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm
I
saying.
only liked it once, but I was extremely drunk, so
Yeah.
I can't remember if I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's about as far as it gets. Mint chocolate's is like pretty gross. You know, just not. It tastes like toothpaste. It tastes like someone like put a little bar of Crest into my.
Yeah,
Well,
but like,
that's why people put toothpaste in them to prank people. 'Cause you can't tell a difference.
Is that really something people do?
I sometimes like
Never seen
kind
that?
of eat the toothpaste. You know, like I mean, you
When
don't like eat it, but it's like it's just you don't like. It's just kind of you're like. You don't really mind if you like have some in your
Explains a
mouth
lot.
and then you like you end up getting it. You know, you just kind of swallow it later and you're like, yeah, that's fine.
Sounds like you're making an excuse. Oh, whoops! I accidentally swallowed a little bit more.
I mean, I'm just not like.
I didn't get a good brush.
I mean, I'm just not mad when I have like the remnants of the toothpaste left and then I eat some.
Have you really not ever seen that prank though? Like
No.
people take Oreos apart, scrape the middle out of it, and put toothpaste in there.
And then
That
call
doesn't
it,
make any
and then
sense.
call it, yeah, wouldn't the people be able to see it?
You mean like a prank to like? You mean like a prank where they're like not gonna be able to tell that you did it
Yeah, no, people do it.
with Oreos, but like you would be able to tell in a second. It's like a completely different. It's like vanilla.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're not really paying attention,
like
you
a
just
mint
grab an
Oreo.
Oreo and take a bite out of it, and you're
Yeah.
like, "What the hell? There's toothpaste in there."
Oh, I thought the point of the prank was like you're like supposed to be like, oh, see, like it's so crappy that you don't even notice.
Yeah, that's what I
no.
thought the point of the prank was.
No, Oreos are better, but
Yeah.
I'm saying like,
I was about to say, you have to be pretty. You have to,
Yeah, you have to be Steven's level of
Yeah.
drunk to
I was gonna
enjoy
say,
that.
I don't think even I got to that level where I was.
Oreo tastes like
Whatever,
toothpaste.
still good. But this is a Tide Pod eating generation, so you can't put anything past them.
It's true.
What's Tide Podding?
Tide
Not-
Podding, that's when the kids eat Tide Pods.
You didn't ever hear about that?
Yeah, that was a trend. That was hot in the streets for a little while.
You can tell he doesn't listen to the podcast.
Get out.
What an asshole.
Can't believe
It's like in class when like the kid didn't read the book.
Mm.
He's talking about it with everybody else. He's like, oh yeah.
God, and that's
Marty.
the one we did with swords too.
Yeah, that's actually our great Lost episode.
I know that one was great.
Yeah, legendary Lost episode.
It's still on there, isn't it?
Nah,
You just can't hear it because of the
I
audio.
think I took it off. It was way, or maybe I did.
Because of audio.
Yeah, it was like super, just like like that's all you heard, and like it's because like he was afraid of the mic. Like he was sitting over there, like like the mic.
Well, I think
was,
we
like,
just didn't tell him like where he
Yeah.
should sit.
Yeah, but he's also like, oh god, I don't know, guys, I don't want to. He's not afraid of the mic.
Swords is just too chill to get near a microphone.
Yeah.
It was just fun trying to explain to him the things we were talking about.
Yeah. That could have been a nice little segment. Explain to swords.
We're still gonna get my
A lot of sticks.
Actually, maybe we can bring in the little one, little Jade. You can explain things to her. What was your definition of conservatism?
They were the people that were right.
What is it?
His definition of conservatism when she asked him was, "Oh, they're the people that are right."
Which is, I don't know if he meant it as a play on words, but it's kind of a play on words.
Yeah.
But I know Forrest just meant it as.
No,
Everybody else
he
sucks.
probably like clarified it afterwards. And no, I don't mean like they're the opposite of the left. I mean they are correct. And there is no other like.
The only thing that Forrest left was sad that somebody could have confused him for talking about the left and the right and not just saying correct versus
Yeah.
incorrect.
It's actually the right and the wrong.
There you go.
Uh,
You've heard it all, folks.
so okay.
Pretty much wraps up the show.
So transition. Go. Give us a good segue.
Oh, jeez.
So, speaking of.
That's a terrible.
Speaking
You can't
of.
just
hold
throw
on,
that in
wait.
there.
Speaking of.
Speaking of the right,
There you go.
we go for the super far right.
What here you
So
actually
the farther to the right you get, you become more correct.
yeah, that's
Not
what-
always.
Oh boy.
Actually, if you go further right, you
That's-
actually start to go left.
Yeah. So the most right
Part
and
of Forrest thinks that
extreme-
actually
yeah.
works logically.
Yeah.
It's actually funny though. No, actually, if you like, because we're talking about Unite the Right, the second, or I guess it's the first anniversary
What is
of what
that?
happened last year in Charlottesville.
That whole thing in Charlottesville with like the tiki torches. You remember this? Guy?
Yeah, those morons.
Mm-mm. No.
They're, like, so they were actual like white nationalists, real weird people. Follow like Richard Spencer and all those
Yeah.
people.
I mean, it's a small group of like racist white people that were. Like, I think it was in support of Trump.
Stupid piece of shit.
Yeah.
Second time that's
They
happened.
supported Trump? Oh, yeah.
Well, so
yeah,
they
yeah,
supported
yeah.
Trump,
I know
but
about that.
Like that's
the-
why it was in the news.
so the first year that it happened, people
What was the head guy's name?
there was a lot of people that set it
Oh,
up.
hold on.
When you're talking about Richard Spencer,
Yeah, I
he's
think
the
that
white
was the guy.
nationalist. He's not the one that set up
He's
Charlottesville,
not the one-
though. I don't think.
Maybe it was something Kessler. Was that the one? That's the
Jason
one
Kessler, I
yeah.
think. But like, why I say that is why as you go far right is what they like to call it. 'Cause these people are actually left wing. Like they're all socialist. Like the only thing that they have that like they try to equate to the right is that they're white
people?
nationalists. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're just another identitarian group. They're not like actually right on the political spectrum.
Well, they certainly don't like stand for anything that you would consider like conservative, like traditionally. But the point, I think why people say that also is because like they would always vote a certain way.
No, they're actual Democrats, most of them.
Is that true?
Yes.
They would vote for a Clinton.
I want to fact check on that one.
Yeah, I want to fact check.
Yeah.
I want to see a bunch of guys.
this
They wouldn't vote
this
for
is-
Clinton. They wouldn't vote for Clinton, but there were a lot of Bernie supporters.
Really?
They're socialists.
Well, I
Bernie
mean,
supporters.
They got to be excited when they saw somebody that looks so much like them. You
Yeah.
know,
I'm telling you, they're mostly socialists. They're not right wing.
I could see that being mostly mostly.
Yeah,
social.
they're
Yeah.
just another identitarian group. So they don't
That's-
support Republicans per
That's
se.
fair, I guess. I don't know how true it is, but I could see it. I could see it being true. I could see them being more socialist, not democratic though.
That is actually what part of Death of a Nation is about. Is talking about
Yeah,
relating that group
right.
to the Democrat Party.
Speaking of
And
Death of a
socialist.
Nation,
Yeah, I see.
I was just looking at this
I
board.
was
I was
actually,
on
I was
board.
actually going to suggest a different story first because this is the one I knew the least about. Because I want to wait for all the stories to come out. Like, so far, all that I see from that thing, it seems like it's very small this year, and like most of like the brouhaha is actually
Yeah.
between Antifa and the cops.
There's like 30 people there
Yeah, there's
from the
like-
white nationalists.
yeah, there's like
because
30.
because the first year, what I was going to say about it, the first year a whole bunch of groups went because they thought it was like a right-wing thing, and then it was like these white nationalists that kind of got involved with it, and so most of the other groups were like, "Oh, we didn't understand, like, this was y'all's platform. Like, we were here because it was unite the right."
I just like tiki
we heard
torches.
we heard there was free food.
Yeah, exactly.
I came
And
for
so,
the
like,
free hat.
So this year they were like, okay, well, we're not going to support that. You know, like, actually, the funny thing is, leading into another one of these stories was
Speaking
Gavin.
of,
Yeah,
Speaking of-
Gavin McInnes, him getting kicked off Twitter. They kicked him off Twitter after he disavowed Unite the Right rally.
yeah,
And he put a tweet out saying, like, the Proud Boys will not be at this. We don't like these people. They're morons. Like, you know, I don't remember the exact tweet, but, like, after he put that out, they kicked him off Twitter. And all the Proud Boys.
yeah. Well, the tweet that I.
Speaking of,
Just make him keep changing.
I was gonna be
see
the
if we
key
can-
change guy.
If you can, yeah.
I'm gonna take a word from that. Speaking of throne, did you guys see the shot put tournament this weekend?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But wait, who was Gavin McInnes again? Wasn't he on?
So he started Vice News
Okay,
a
there's
long time ago.
there's gonna be a lot of me stopping this to say who is this person,
Yeah.
which I'm sure will help the people who actually listen to this because half these stories are like you got to be pretty involved in news.
Yeah, you
Right
really do.
news.
We try to put some cultural references in every once in a while.
Speaking
That's why we
of,
have Ruby Rose
Just
in
say,
here.
just say like, just add in every once in a while. Black Panther,
Good
Marvel.
No, we're talking about Black James Bond now.
Oh, I like that.
Oh yeah.
I do,
I think
except
that
he's
guy's-
old.
I think that guy's kind of, but that's like the way James Bond has been going now.
True.
He's like, I mean, I guess
But I
he's
mean, are you
45.
only
I
gonna
think
make
he was like
one-
55.
I
Are you
think
gonna
he's-
only make
I-
one movie with
I
him?
think he's like the perfect kind of handsome for James
Well,
Bond.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like that.
No, he for
brutish
sure
kind of
is.
like,
This is and this is what I was saying to Forrest. Like he's also like cool, like super,
Yeah.
like like I was doing my. Oi, I'm dealing drugs. There's rules to this game now. You play this right. I'm living in Baltimore and I still talk like this. Like,
It's a black
I'm
British
the
like-
sad thing is how good
You ever
Ethan's
seen
accent is. Like when he does that accent, like in his head, he's like, man, that's spot on.
I'm killing it.
That is a Cuban man doing a black British dude,
Oi there, Forrest. There's rules to this game.
sounding somewhat
You
Australian.
know.
Yeah, it sounded like Jack Sparrow, more wasted than
The
he usually
pirate.
is.
Oh, there's rules to this party. You don't just take a mate and throw him over the deck.
I mean, I think it's a good idea. The whole thing. I think.
Yeah,
It'd
no, I mean, I just don't think you're gonna get a lot of movies out of him.
No, you're not gonna get a lot of movies out of him.
Yeah, well, that it does seem like
But I mean, I guess you don't need to.
You get
It's kind of an
three.
experiment.
You get three.
I bet he's
you don't wanna
saying.
get
I bet
2 out
he's
of
saying
him.
though, like
They got 3 out of Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig was like 45 when he started those movies.
really.
I mean, I just made that up, but let's Google it.
I bet you he was like 30. He was late 30s. And those years make a lot. I bet you Idris Elba is talking to his agent right now. It's like, listen, mate, I ain't fucking Tom Cruise.
So
I'm
Daniel
not
Craig
running."
is 50 years old right now.
Yeah.
So
Right now, and those movies
He was
started
like
when?
38. 10 years ago, right? When I was
12
in high
years
school.
ago, yeah. And
Ooh, I fucking guessed that on the nose.
Idris
oh,
Elba,
he's made.
Idris Elba is how old?
45.
Okay,
And-
so
and
he's
he's
made
gonna be
4
James
movies,
Bond,
I
right?
guess.
Yeah, he's gonna be James Bond. At least, like, I think that's confirmed, right? This is no longer. A
Well,
rumor.
they say it's speculation.
Actually, he said something about it earlier today. I was actually going to look that up before this podcast, and I didn't do it.
Yeah. Oh,
I
actually.
always like to be prepared.
Oh,
no,
man.
it says that he sparks further speculation on
does
CNN,
he?
which is always right.
Stop fucking.
What a jackass.
Hey,
My name's Elba.
Stop.
Idris Elba. He tweeted.
Stop putting that rubbish out there. I ain't no James Bond. Oi.
And then he put, "Don't believe the hype."
Don't. Oh, God. Listen, you guys didn't hear what I said, but he's like, I'm not running. I'm not Tom Cruise. My knees are old and creaky. Like, if you expect a 50-year-old man to be running across the football field, like that bloke
not
is a
me.
freak. And like, I ain't doing that. All right.
Wait, is that really what he said?
That's what I'm sure he's thinking. He's like, listen, you guys, I'm 45. I want to like.
Yeah, but Tom Cruise is like 78.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, but at 45, he should be breaking down. Like, if he was in the NFL, he'd already been in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't just be
Inducted.
retired. He would already like.
He would have been inducted coaching for 10 years at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is a good idea if they're just trying to do it because Idris Elba. How do you say his
Elba.
name?
Don't know.
You could just
Like that, maybe.
pick.
Yeah.
Idris.
I'm gonna say Idris because he lives in a white country, so I'm gonna say pronounce how I would imagine a white person pronouncing it.
Yeah, somebody was telling me that's like a thing that like.
How would a Cuban person pronounce it then?
Idris.
Idris. Idris.
It depends how mad they are. If they're pretty calm, by the way, Idris. But if they're mad, they're like, Idris.
Idris.
Just drop this off of it.
Yeah. Some more magic.
I think it'll be a good idea, like if they're doing it just because he's a great actor. Like,
Yeah,
it's
he's
cool.
he's a pretty damn good.
I hope they bring in good writers that just make it a good James Bond.
Yeah, not like Quantum of Solace writers.
Yeah. Or actually, wasn't the thing with that like they
The writer's strike.
Yeah, there was a writer's strike.
Yeah, that was
so-
the worst James Bond ever.
It was the least like coherent of them.
Didn't
for
make
sure.
any sense. That
Yeah,
movie.
right. Like,
No.
what the hell is going on?
I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Is I just
There's-
hope it's good.
look,
because
there's-
like I don't want the politics in it.
there's
Like,
probably
I want
part
that
of
to
it-
happen just because he's a good actor. And it's not like another because I think Black Panther could have been better if it wasn't so politicized.
well, I thought Black Panther was like good. Like, it was a good movie, but like the politics outside of it were like crazy. Like, it was hyped up to be something that it wasn't when it was just like a good Marvel movie.
yeah, it was a good
Yeah.
Marvel movie with some messages in there. Like every one of them's gonna have because it's directed by somebody who has an opinion on things, but it was like the way people took it. It went a little crazy.
Did you know that they're making the popular movie category this year?
They're making what
They put in a popular movie category
in
in
for the Oscars.
why?
Because they're tired of giving just Oscars to these no-name
Yeah.
films that nobody watches, but they want
Yeah.
to give them an award because
Like,
I
they
think
make
that's
some
only like a
political
recent
statement.
streak, though. I think they should have just waited it out. Like, I think it's stupid to. I don't love the idea. Also, because it's like, I think there's a good like argument to be made that you're kind of hurting the chances. Like, Black Panther maybe could have won a Best Picture, just on its own because people like were that excited about it. Whatever like we think of it. But now it's like it's gonna win the popular movie category, like running away.
Yeah,
Like-
which is like I kind of wonder which category
so then it makes
becomes
it
the
look
joke
like
of
it's
the two
just
because
a-
like one of them's got to become the joke. One of them's got to become the like
Well,
okay, this is like the real
The
winner, and this one's
the
like
Moonlight.
Obviously, it's going to be the Best Picture is
It's
like
like-
going to be like the thing, and popular movie is going to be like the joke, right?
Yeah.
really.
But
Definitely.
which one is going to be the joke though? Which one's gonna be the Moonlight of the bunch?
Oh, I don't even know what's nominated. I don't think the nominations have come out yet.
I know, but like I think that people could.
What movies have been coming out this year?
I think the Oscar season hasn't really started. Like it kind of starts now. Like you're gonna start seeing a lot more of like like bigger movies coming out in the next like 3 months.
There's a Jason Statham movie coming out. I think it's a shoe-in.
It could win most popular.
The Meg.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be.
They're so out of ideas. They're recycling.
How is that a recycled
giant-
idea? Jason
the giant
Statham's never
shark.
been underwater for us.
The giant shark idea.
Is that the one that he's coming out with?
If they have a shark in
Meg.
it, I want to see LL Cool J come back.
Every Jason Statham movie ranked on Rotten Tomatoes.
No. Okay. Let's see this. Wait.
I
Let
don't
me go
trust
back to
Rotten
that.
Tomatoes.
I love this kind of crap. But that's the other thing that I don't want I don't like the popular movie category for.
I think it would just be an impressive list if it had every Jason Statham movie.
Yeah, right. Like I like having the conversation between like what's more artistically valid, like The Dark Knight or I don't know what's like a more like artsy movie or like Moonlight or something. Or,
Well, yeah, La La Land.
yeah, or something like that.
That
where-
would have been more of a comparison
Yeah,
because
I-
La La Land was popular.
Yeah, La La Land, fine. But I just like having like to think about that and and kind of talk about movies in that like light where it's like
Yeah.
like is it better because it's popular or is it better because it's like oh this one's like artistic or like Forrest Gump versus like Pulp Fiction like
Forrest
the year.
Gump wins every time.
Yeah,
no
well,
matter
Forrest
what.
Gump did win like the Oscar, but like if it had the popular
Every
movie
time.
category, Forrest Gump probably would have won that, and then Pulp Fiction would have won the
Maybe it would have won both.
Best Picture. I don't know, maybe not. I mean, that's also well in that scenario. Then nothing interesting happened.
Wow. What's sad
it
about
when
this
nothing
Jason
interesting
Statham list, as I've
happens.
been reading through it, is there's 2 Fast and Furious in the top 10.
He was in those.
Yeah,
he
you
was
didn't
like
see
the bad
that?
guy.
So they put him into they like.
Oh, that's
So since they
crap.
put Tokyo Drift in the
Yeah,
wrong
number one is
sequence,
Spy with Melissa McCarthy.
He was like, I mean, he was actually really funny in that.
He was
but,
really funny
yeah.
in that.
I should probably watch it before I criticize it.
Oh, no, Yvonne, just criticize it. Forrest, on a scale of 1 to 10, what did you think of
Yeah,
Spy?
what was your least favorite part of the movie?
Yeah. Tell us what you
That
thought. of
one
the main-
part-
Oh
with
wow,
Melissa
and
McCarthy
3 Fast
and-
and Furious are in it.
Oh, is he? Are they making another one now?
No, I'm saying he's already been in 3.
Are they counting the Tokyo Drift where they put him in after the movie was already
No,
made
no.
as
He
the
was
guy
in,
who
he was
killed
in 6,
the
7,
Asian
and
dude?
8.
Is that true?
What?
I mean, it must be true because I'm reading on the internet, but I didn't know he was in all of those. I thought he was in 1. I thought he was the bad guy. Didn't they kill him? Or
So-
is it-
He's
So-
the bad guy, and then he gets put in
Okay,
jail.
so
and he
in
has, like,
Tokyo
a-
Drift, since it was out of sequence, they made it to where when he came in, it looked like he was the one that killed the Asian dude from Tokyo Drift.
yeah.
It, like crashed into him, and then he was like the villain for the next like 2
Gotcha.
after that I knew of. I didn't know they made another one after that though.
Yeah. Fast and Furious. What are we at, 9 now?
Speaking
That's
of,
No.
I mean, you can't do that with Paul. Like Paul Walker being gone should have ended that series
Yeah.
Well,
because
Yeah.
he carried it.
yeah.
Vin Diesel's good, but I mean, good.
I can't say.
Quotes and big quotes around that.
I
Like,
saw a
if you
funny-
want an action film that's just nonsense, that's what you go watch.
Yeah.
But it should have ended when Paul Walker died, though.
No,
Yeah.
I just want more movies of Vin Diesel bringing people together and using some quote about family.
It's all about
It's
family.
all about the family.
I saw this funny meme of Vin Diesel, like he was like shirtless, like hanging out, like looking over like his porch or something. And it's like when you hear a car outside your door, and there's like fat and curious, and he's just sitting going like this.
I always loved like how he walked around in those movies without his shirt.
Yeah,
Like he's not jacked or I mean he's like a stocky dude,
Well,
but he's
dude,
not like ripped.
it's like he did not even get in shape like to like be next to The Rock.
Yeah, he was just
You know,
like,
like when they
I'm
fight.
a big stocky dude.
Yeah, exactly. When they fight, it looks ridiculous because like he's got a big fat head, and you're next to like The Rock, who doesn't have an ounce of fat on him, and he's just like and he's like when they were promoting it, I remember him saying, "It's like this is the fight they've been asking for." Like, no, well, no one wants to see the Rock beat up some
Yeah.
poor pudgy
I would say they're
Italian.
looking for maybe like The Rock versus The Mountain or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
They're not
Like,
looking for you, but
Yeah, right. They're looking for some like out of shape, like 38-year-old, like looks like he sits at home.
Do you guys
eats
know his real
Mama's,
name?
Larry Kudlow.
Mark Sinclair is Vin Diesel's real name.
really.
Goodness.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
pretty white
Yeah,
name.
right? Sounds like you got the crap kicked
Okay,
out of him.
Mark.
Yeah. Dude, that's a great name change. I mean, I'm
Vin
jealous.
Diesel.
I wanted to change my name for a little bit.
Sounds like he was trying to go into porn before he got into acting or something. It's the only reason you'd stick Diesel on the end of your name.
Hey, come get the Vin Diesel. Gonna change your oil. Wah, wah.
I'm gonna be in a bunch of car movies.
Yeah.
That's why I'm naming myself this.
You're about to get cranked.
How
I'm
did the
trying to Google
third?
Vin Diesel next to
The Rock.
Rock.
Did one of y'all ever watch the third
They hated each other
Triple
for a
X movie?
Did they really?
Yeah. Because Vin Diesel's a fat bastard who didn't work on the set, and The Rock's like super professional. The third Triple X movie?
Yeah, Vin Diesel came
yeah,
back.
that's right. It was like the return of Xander Cage. Or
Yeah,
something.
did y'all ever watch that?
No.
Neither did I. I was hoping maybe one of y'all did. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Once they like brought in Ice Cube for the second one, like
Ice Cube.
like Vin Diesel was too big of a get. Like, you know.
So Vin
Ice
Diesel's lazy
Cube.
on set, and The Rock didn't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big beef they had. They kept working together though. I mean, they kept making movies.
Because The Rock is like, The Rock can't be stopped. You know what I'm saying? Like he can work through anything. I bet. Like
I'm
and just be
sure.
like super positive about it. Like I bet his attitude was more just like, "Hey Vin, it's okay, man. You're gonna get back at next time. You get back in the gym." Thanks, Rock.
Man, you want to come work out with me, man?
Yeah.
I get up at 5 a.m.
Yeah. Come on, man. I got a great trainer, man, and a great nutritionist. I'll get you in touch with both of them. We can work out together. We can be buddies. I don't know.
Hey man, I'm all about the family.
Yeah. Sorry, I got family. We're making spaghetti at home.
Then The Rock decided to make a whole bunch of movies with Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Dude, The Rock is honestly amazing when it comes to like his ability to make money on a movie that really just like looks like the most
Have you seen-
unmarketable movie I've ever seen.
Have you seen the previews of that movie where he's in a high rise called
Yeah.
like High Rise
Yeah,
or something like
yeah.
that?
Yeah, and I bet it's number one in the box office for at least 1 week.
It made a lot of money
outrageous.
overseas. It's like it tanked kind of in the U.S. People were like, "Oh no, The Rock," but then like it killed overseas, and The Rock was like, "Hey, shout out to everybody, man. It's all cool." It's like everyone who made this possible. It's like, man, you could just pump out anything. This guy, like I've never seen
Terrible,
like
man.
He's so
That's why
marketable.
Jumanji was so big.
like he shouldn't be The Rock. He should be Rumpelstiltskin because he's just like turning like hay into gold, and
Yeah,
by
he's
hay
good.
I mean like
outrageous.
shit.
Yeah, you're good, you.
That's outrageous. See, like that'll probably be the most popular part of the podcast, and people just stop listening after that.
I would like to do a sketch of The Rock trying to motivate Vin Diesel and him being like, "Hey, I don't know, Rock. Come
Just
on,
do it for the family.
Come on, yeah. I don't know, man. It's against my family. I don't know what you're talking about, Vin. We got to get in the gym. Why don't you do a few pull-ups? I don't know. I also like my version of The Rock. He has like a really gay,
High voice,
gay high voice. Hey there, come on now, buddy. It's because like that's the way like his Twitter reads, you know.
Yeah, because
Like-
he's so like. I mean, he literally reads like. He like reads like that coach that you never really had, but you always saw in movies that you assumed coaches were like, you know, like so positive and
No,
always
he has
pushing
he has the
players.
Twitter of a white girl, you know.
I've never seen
It's
his Twitter.
like, well, like nothing but positivity today, like all haters, like love is sunshine and like stuff like that. Like, really, yeah, like yeah, you're not on the social media.
It's like the only thing that he can only do it because he's so gigantic.
yeah, right.
No, you know who else is kind of like.
But he's also
like
like-
that. Terry Crews.
Yeah.
Who's also
But he's so
gigantic.
gigantic.
Yeah.
Terry
okay,
Crews.
but you know who else is like that? The Mountain.
Also, he's been
Yeah, but you know who else is like that? Speaking of,
Lou Ferrigno is kind of
Lou
like that.
dude,
Yeah.
he's still jacked.
But yeah,
my lexicon of big people is running slim. I'm like,
I
I,
got a
can't
few
think
more.
of anybody.
Arnold Schwarzenegger 30 years ago was like
Arnold
that.
Schwarzenegger. Oh yeah, that
No, he's
was
kinda fat.
that was like.
He got-
Speaking of guys who were like fat trying to be jacked, was him in like the Expendables. Like I forgot which one, but the one that he came back in.
He's in all three of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like but there's one.
Yeah.
There's like one where there was a long break, and then he came back and did it, and then he was just like.
In
really
the Expendables 1, he was more like cameo. He's more like, good luck, boys.
Yeah, exactly. And then he was actually in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, then he's like, actually, boys, I need the paycheck.
Yeah, he was.
And
he
Chuck
looked-
Norris came back in, and
It was bad.
Chuck Norris was in the other one?
yeah, he even made one of the Chuck Norris jokes too.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, like one of those.
There's like no way that movie was not written by like 6-year-olds.
Yeah, he made like a joke. No, literally, he made one of the
No,
jokes.
actually, 60-year-olds.
Somebody was like, "Oh, I heard."
Stallone.
I think
Yeah.
it was Stallone. Like said something like, "I heard you got bitten by a cobra," something like that. And Chuck Norris was like, "Yeah." And after 3 days of excruciating pain, that cobra died. It was like, jeez.
Yeah, give it up to him, I guess.
So I remember in high school trying to look up these jokes.
It's a highly watchable movie.
Like,
Highly unwatchable.
I wonder if Google still has it.
It's almost impressively unwatchable.
Hold on.
Unwatchable.
I gotta see if Google will still do it.
Expendables 2, the unwatchables.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris.
You're
There
gonna look
used
up
to
some
be
of the jokes?
No, there used to be a feature. They probably don't do it.
Chuck
anymore,
Norris
though.
jokes?
No, it's
Well, like, the Chuck Norris jokes just basically became the Dos Equis commercial.
That's true.
Like, that is what those jokes are. Or that is what
Yeah,
that
pretty
commercial
much.
is. Like, they just took that whole thing. Cause, like,
Alright,
that
no,
was a
so
popular
so
meme
the
for a long
search
time.
engine isn't set up the same way anymore, but used to on Google. I remember this in high school. You could type in Chuck Norris, and then there was like some other options on like either like I'm feeling lucky or something like that, and you could like click on one of those, and it would and like the only response it would have would be like like oh no, it was like you couldn't search for it like in a certain way because it'd just be like Chuck Norris doesn't, you can't search for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris
Norris
searches
searches
for
for
you.
you.
Yeah, something like that. I was like, jeez.
He's like, are you looking for me, punk? You got me. That'd be kind of cool.
I was like, all right, Google.
Like, imagine you Google him and you just get a phone call from him.
Like,
Like,
say, "Why are
I heard you
at
were looking
me?"
for me.
He had 2 years of
It's
his
just like
life
an
where he just sat
automated
by a
thing.
phone waiting for that joke to be funny.
Yeah.
He was just like
Great.
called like 10,000 kids. And
It would have been great if Google would have just like partnered with him, got like a
Right.
recording of it, and so it just like
Well, that'd been good.
automatically called.
Google should have. I mean, they have
Yeah.
the money, and he
That would've
has
been
the not
hilarious.
working.
Yeah. I actually never really understood why those jokes became a thing.
Because Chuck Norris is a badass.
Yeah. He's also kind of like the kind of badass where it's like the joke's kind of on him because he's so like over like the. There's something about him that's just like, it's good to make fun of him. Like,
Yeah.
but it's like, I mean, he is sort of a badass. Like,
I mean, he was in a movie. Like he was in the movie with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Well, he was like legitimate. Like he was legitimately good at kung fu. And all
Yeah, well,
sorts
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. He's like a little different than like Steven Seagal. Like Steven Seagal, like the joke is clearly on him because like you ever seen that one where he's a fat, where like like he's doing like he's teaching like a karate class and he's so fat and out of shape he just goes like, hey, and like he puts like his like hand there and like the guy like jumps over his fist. He's like, I'm doing karate, like this is my move. And like he's like actually teaching a class. People are like they're like imbibing this junk. But so it's little but Chuck Norris is not that kind of thing where it's like it's not the joke isn't that he's like a terrible like, but he's just like he's like offensively like masculine, I guess, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's just something about him where it's too much.
Well, and he just had some really popular movies back in the day, like
Was
him fighting. You know, it was like
I know he had like, didn't he have Walker, Texas? Wasn't that him?
Well, yeah, Walker Texas Ranger.
Yeah,
was
that
pretty
was his big
as
thing.
far as TV shows.
Walker, Texas
I
Ranger.
don't think he had any huge movies.
No, not huge, but I mean, like he was in like manly movies, like
Yeah.
action. Like he was like one of the action
Making
people.
Beef Jerky Part 1 and 2.
Like
Shave
kind of
with
like
the door and
how
do
Clint
five.
Eastwood was. Like he was just in action type like manly roles.
Yeah.
all the time. He was in Logan's War was a big one. He played like like Green Berets and stuff like that. Delta Force, Firewalker. I saw that one. That one was funny. The Missing in Action movies.
Honestly, like, what movies do you guys watch in West Texas Force?
Lone
There's
Wolf
sometimes where I'm like,
Hey,
the
Lone
movies
Wolf
that you've
McQuade.
seen.
That's not his name. That's not where he's from. Cover
Lone
her
Wolf
ass.
McQuaid was one of the movies I've seen before,
Lone
but he was
Wolf
like big in the
McQuaid.
70s and 80s.
The hell is that?
Huh?
The hell? That's a.
He
that's
plays
good-
like a Texas Ranger in that movie.
Yeah. I think.
It doesn't really feel like they thought of that title like at all.
Lone Wolf McQuaid.
You know
sounds
that-
He's
like
a lone wolf.
I think that's kind of based off a guy, a real person though.
Lone Wolf McQuaid.
No, the Walker Texas Ranger thing. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's obviously just a.
It's
but,
based
like,
off Matt Damon's character in.
See, that's why
no.
people. See, that's why he was popular and people made those jokes. Is because like it was kind of making fun of him, but it was like he's still enough of a man. Like he'd probably whoop your ass.
But, like, he's
you
like-
can't make jokes like that with Matt Damon because Matt Damon's a big ass pussy.
But tell us how you really feel. But no, like
Just saying. Like it, we were talking about this the other day. It's like Chris Evans trying to play a damn mechanic.
yeah, actually, I
Yeah,
was
that is
I was
a little
actually going to
silly.
bring this up with the Ruby Rose thing. I'll tell you what it is since you're going to ask.
I'll ask.
Yeah. Ruby Rose, like
Speaking of.
yeah, speaking. Oh, hold on, wait. Speaking of, okay, go.
So who's
Ruby Rose quit Twitter
Yeah,
today.
Ruby Rose is like she's in Orange Is the New Black. She's
Oh yeah,
She's
yeah,
the
the one who's
lesbian
like kind
chick.
of a pretty girl.
yeah, she's like
Yeah,
super
you know, with
pretty.
the short haircut. 'cause
Yeah,
she
and, like,
tries
all
to
the
look like a dude
tattoos.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Like there was a controversy that I'm woke on. I'll explain that part later. But she left Twitter because she was getting like attacked by people who were saying that she was gonna play Batwoman and Batwoman as a lesbian, and she is a lesbian. But the controversy was that like she's too pretty, like essentially, like this is what people were attacking her for. They're saying like, oh, she's she's too good looking. Like this is what people like. This is what you want your lesbians to be like. Like the prettiest like version of that instead of being like like a more butchy looking girl. That was like the argument.
Yes, that is how I'd like my lesbian.
In the movies I watched, that's what they look like.
It's just terrible.
Yeah, but no. But that was like the controversy. And the reason I brought it up because then I was thinking, I was like, well, I did say the same thing about Chris Evans. I did say he was too much of a pretty boy, right? Like,
True.
like
But he grew a beard.
like if this
He
was a
grew a
woman
beard.
who spends her like nightlife beating up criminals with her bare fist, like she's not gonna look like Ruby Rose, like like the prettiest girl in the world, like so
I
thin.
mean, you could still be pretty, but I would think more of like Ronda Rousey. Like she's not bad
Yeah.
looking, but she's like big. Ruby
Yeah.
Rose is like as big
That's
as
what
my
I'm saying.
pinky.
She's a twin. She's a little twink. Like you got to get me like a big, thick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get the whole like she's got to be pretty, like like the whole lesbian, like you're just trying to, like I get it, but that's like you could say the same thing about straight males. It's like you're just throwing out Chris Evans because this is what you expect of all us straight males.
Well, yeah,
but it's like
I mean, like that is like what happens.
But
Things
nobody
get-
ever says anything about that with Chris Evans though.
But we said something. That's why I'm so like,
That's
what?
true.
Maybe to be consistent, maybe we should be
little
on their
bitch
side.
hands.
I think it's
Like-
like dumb. I
There
mean,
was-
she should be bigger. Like she should be like stronger and stuff. So like if she wants to, like she should gain 15 pounds for that role.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
she should start lifting some weights.
Yeah,
'cause
if she
she's
gained
like,
weight for like the role and did
I'm not
everything,
joking,
I'd be
she's
like,
as
you know what?
big
I
as
don't
my
care
pinky.
that she's pretty. Like
Yeah.
if she has to play like a lesbian, she's a pretty lesbian.
But yeah,
you
but
know?
she
Yeah.
actually is gay. Like,
I know she is.
Well, she has her hair really short too. I thought like didn't Batgirl have? I mean, not that it matters, but didn't
Yeah.
Batgirl have like hair like coming out the?
I think there's different versions. I think there is a
Yeah.
comic book version where like she is.
Holly
she-
Berry will always be my Catwoman.
Yeah.
Well, this is Batwoman.
That's true.
Anyways,
Hey,
Catwoman,
this
'cause
is
they're not gonna make another
Batwoman
one.
though.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, is Batwoman?
Yeah, she's playing Batwoman,
Yeah.
not Cat.
See, I do like more authenticity in a role, but it's because I do have that problem where it's like you put in like Chris Evans to play a mechanic. Like, come on, the mechanic doesn't look like that. He eats like cereal and drinks beer on the weekends. You
Yeah,
know, like,
every Friday he's at the bar.
yeah, and like every Friday he's at the bar, and and what's this? He works on he works on ships, and it's like he's got manicured fingernails.
Yeah.
He works on engines all day.
That was the thing. Like we were watching that movie called Gifted. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it
it was
was
just
good.
we were kind of making fun of that one part of it, but
He was a mechanic.
there's like one part where like the girl is sitting there and like doing something on the floor, and like in the background you can see Chris Evans like with a ratchet in his hand, and he's like using the ratchet. And I said, I said something. I was like, you can't tell me that little girl's hands could do that. And then, like, as soon as he was started to say something, because I could tell Steven was like confused. He was like, I think she was playing with Legos. Or
Yeah,
something.
I'm like, what? Play with Legos?
No, and I was like, and, like, as he was saying that, I said, and I'm not referring to her hands either.
Yeah, that's a little. I mean, that's one of those things where it's just like, eh.
I mean, it's like typical Hollywood. Like, you know why they do it? Because, like, no one wants to see an actual mechanic on screen.
Yeah.
Some big
2 hours.
Yeah, a big like beer bellied, like like thick, like meaty hand, like
Hey, there's some
farting, like
Yeah, he's
Well,
everything.
actually-
He's the brooding, guy who's disappointed because his sister killed himself. He took his niece in, and kept her from being homeless. And he's such a great guy. He's a mechanic, but he's also a philosophy professor. And he's jacked, but he drinks beer every weekend.
that
He's
was-
like the greatest of all worlds.
definitely a big flaw in that movie. Is like, my only flaw is I care too much for my niece. Like, definitely a flaw in the movie. He was way like, oh, actually, I'm just Captain America. You know what? I haven't
much.
changed roles. Like, I'm just like, this is what I do in the off season. I care for kids. Sorry, I can't always be there because sometimes I'm saving the world.
Yeah, but that's like a thing with like the Hollywood movies too, where they'll overwrite characters that are supposed to be like simple, like not like it's just like you just can't write like. There's a guy who's just like, his one thing should be this, but then he has like 50 things, and you're like, okay, this guy's like way too complex. Like, he's like a small town mechanic.
Yeah, I don't even mind them being like complex. It's like when they have to like they really want to convince you that he's a good guy. It's like, most people you'll just kind of root for them when they're like the thing you see on screen.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you don't need to like I work at an orphanage. I save kittens.
No, I kind of like
really, that's part of it.
Like to
Yeah.
think of it I kind of like the Good Will Hunting characters, except Will. Like they're all kind of like really guys that you're all like you're cheering for. They're good guys. They're like, but like none of them are like these overly complex like, oh my gosh, like clearly you're supposed to cheer for them. It's just like no, they're like flawed characters that grew up in a tough neighborhood and have to work
well, Will's a little bit of a superhero.
Will is,
yeah,
but that's kind of the point,
Yeah, he has a little bit of that, like, oh, I'm working construction, but I look like Matt Damon, like, and I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Like
Casey Affleck is
Matt Damon working construction.
yeah,
That's a fucking joke,
laugh.
too.
Actually, you know what I was
I think
thinking?
Matt Damon's a good guy.
When I was describing what Chris Evans should have looked like, Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel probably smashed his phone when he saw that movie. This is me. I drink beer every weekend.
and I only care about family.
Yeah, exactly. I care about my family. This
There's
son of a.
there's a line in that movie that I want to remember
Get my
so
agent.
bad, and I can't quote it. But he's like, we don't got something, we got family.
I'll tell you what the worst line in that movie is. This just went from Mission Freaking Impossible to Mission Freaking Insanity.
Was that The Rock?
No, I think that was Tyrese Gibson.
Oh, was
Oh,
it?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, he has the worst lines. No, or like when he when he kicks the Mexican out of his car, he's like, "Ejecto, cuz." Like, those movies have invested a lot in the idea that Tyrese Gibson and Ludacris are funny people. But like, that's ludicrous.
Did that actually happen in the movie?
Yeah, the
both
second
of
one.
those two lines I said are from the movie.
Yeah, the second one. It's when him like it's it's before it got really crazy. It
Yeah.
was still just Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson,
Yeah.
and it was just them two
Hey,
in that movie.
those were good times.
Good times, yeah. And
See, I like
Those were good
those
times in
movies.
Miami.
Ejecto, cuz.
That was in Miami, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I
believe
think
so.
so.
Yeah, those were.
So those were better because they were just like
I
the
do like
first
Paul
one was
Walker.
pretty good.
Yeah, the first
I
one was
liked
alright.
it.
It was decent.
The first one was like, the first one shouldn't like when you watch that movie again, you realize how much you do not think that movie's ever gonna have a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth,
No,
seventh,
they were not thinking that either.
eighth. Yeah, it was so clearly
Until
done.
like the fourth one, then it was like, now we can just make this to eternity, and apparently people don't mind.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand how they jumped from.
When you look at the skill set they had in the first one to the skill set they have in the 8th one,
Yeah, they're just race.
doesn't
Like
even
they're
make
literally just
sense.
people that race cars and steal shit.
I've been taking
I've been taking tank courses, helicopter courses.
I've been
I've been taking online banking courses. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. These guys, they have like one skill in the first one, and they're really not even that great
Well,
at
I
it
was
in
just
the
saying
first.
that they're people that can race cars.
They're
and
super good at
work on
talking about cars in the first
Yeah.
one. That's all they do is argue about their cars.
and they can steal shit.
They're on myskillshare.com, upping up their game.
Because like
and they
half
steal
the
shit.
time
Yeah.
it's like you lose all your money if you race your car and lose. So they soup up their car and then they like talk smack to like get into the biggest race.
Yeah.
And so like the whole movie's them talking smack, and then they
Yeah.
get into the big race and it's like a big deal, but only one guy wins.
Yeah,
It's
and like they're low level.
and
It's
they
like,
got into like 4th gear. You know, it was like it was like
Oh
a
my
10
gosh,
meter race.
that was the funniest. Yeah, the funniest part we always laughed at was the gear changes. Like me and my buddy, every time we watch those movies, it's like they shift in and out of gears like 30 times.
It doesn't even make like. I never drove stick, so I never understood what made sense. And then I drove stick when I was in Peru for a couple months. And I came back and I like watch any movie with stick. I'm like, where is this? Like this guy's on a highway. He should be in one gear. Like,
Yeah, exactly,
He is
like-
going 70. He's in one gear. Why is he like switching back?
when they zoomed out, the car was going like.
The best, the best was the mathematics. Like there was some guy that like did like the mathematics of the one of the Fast and Furious where they were on a runway and they were chasing a helicopter. The scene was like 15 minutes. But
Yeah,
it
no,
was like they were like did the math. They're like, yeah, that runway had to be like 17,000 miles long. Based on the speed they were going in a helicopter, like the car was like thrown back off the helicopter. Like it couldn't even keep up at like 100. They had to jump on, fight for the helicopter, and then they're off, and then they're like. And then they just smoothly kind of land it. I was like, how long is this helipad?
See, like Chris Evans should have been doing that movie, because like that's a superhero movie, and then Vin Diesel could do the mechanic movie.
That'd be good. And then Chris Evans
good.
should come in as the same character that he was in Gifted, and then just say,
family.
It's all about.
I just care too much about my family.
That's hilarious. Yeah, those movies don't make any like logical sense where they went.
Yeah. No, really. Like, if you watch, like, I would just love to make like a group of people watch the first one, and then tell me where you think I could take this series, and just write all their plans out, and then see how it compares to what actually happened.
Right? It was like, what if I told, like, you know those like memes that are like Morpheus, like, what if I told you the world,
Yeah.
like, you know, like, what if I told you that eventually these like low level like second rate
Mechanics.
local gangsters would be like international heist dealers in like a span of like 5 years.
Yeah. And they would add on, and they would like somehow like add on like 50 people to their crew, who were like
They actually
all
know
just as
all these
close.
people somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like about like a brother and a sister when it first started, and some white guy who like wanted to date her. Like that was it, and then it turned into like this elaborate like interwebbing of all these people who are somehow related.
Yeah, they really need to start trimming down the fat on that. I can't believe Jason Statham made it through 3.
Jason,
Right.
Jason Statham's about to hit it
God.
big with the Meg.
I mean,
Yeah.
they
Yeah, he's
killed.
probably out of it.
They killed off the hot chick that was in it in like
Jordana
the
Brewster?
5th one.
They
yeah.
killed her?
The lady.
met her.
The chick that
Yeah, I
played.
remember
Remember that? I met her
What
at
else
Yankee.
has she been in?
that. She was in The Faculty.
She
see
was
that.
You
in.
didn't see The Faculty? It's a good movie.
Wasn't that with
Elijah
wannabe?
Wood. Elijah Wood.
Oh, never mind.
Eesh.
Wait, what movie am I thinking?
Why
of?
would I
Wait,
want to watch that?
What? Who was wannabe? Christian Slater. I thought it was Christian Slater.
Christian Slater.
Christian Slater.
Only thing changed is the name on the locker.
I don't know if anybody's gonna ever get that reference, but
It's the
you should
Heathers.
watch the Heathers and
It's the
and then
Heathers.
understand why
I
that
have
joke is
no
sort of funny.
idea where that-
It's not even a joke. It's just a quote. Like I just find the way like his like style of acting.
I
to
thought
be
he was in
funny.
the Faculty.
No, it was Elijah Wood.
Oh, you're right. It was Elijah
It
Wood.
was Elijah Wood. Usher.
Oh.
Really, why would I want to watch that movie?
'Cause
are
Usher's
you
in
are
it?
you not already convinced?
Yeah.
I think.
Need I say more?
Oh wait,
Vin
actually,
Diesel makes a
actually,
guest
here,
appearance.
here, I'll make a good pitch. Jon Stewart gets stabbed in the eye with a needle.
Forrest like, how many liberals get hurt? Were any
There's a
liberals really
movie.
hurt?
Huh?
there's a movie with James Vanderbeek, Ashton Kutcher,
No.
and Usher,
Whoa.
where they all play Texas Rangers.
Now this is like the best trivia question ever. Like, what is that movie? Like,
The amazing thing is, like, I don't know how Forrest found that.
I'm not joking.
Listen,
It
if
was
anyone's-
on like
is anyone-
Netflix or something.
when he sees a
Like,
bunch of like, you know, a bunch of up New York, the Yankee folk playing Texas Rangers.
There's part of me
I
that that
had to
thinks-
watch it just to see like
There's part
what
of me
the
that thinks
hell.
that thinks you just spend your time googling things that like you're gonna hate, but just to figure out like has there been any sissy actors in
that's-
Texas Ranger movies?
No, okay, so the
He doesn't-
movie's
he
actually
doesn't drink
called
coffee. He just like gets up, like, let me find something.
the movie is actually called Texas Rangers.
What's it called? Texas
Yeah,
Rangers.
Texas Rangers. It was made
You know
in
what? I think you
2001.
should have let us guess that.
Oh, 2001? That's not fair though. Because that's like before. That's like when only one of those guys was big.
No,
Who?
Usher was big.
James.
Yeah,
Vanderbeek.
when has Usher not been big?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
James
He's a great
Vanderbeek
dancer.
was big before that, and then Ashton Kutcher was big before that.
Yeah,
he wasn't.
Ashton
Yeah, he
Kutcher might.
was.
Well, when did that '70s show start? He's not as big as, like, he has a weird kind of fame. Like, I
He's
think
more famous for never being that famous, but sort of getting close to being famous.
Yeah, for real. That's a perfect description. Yeah, thank God you were here. That's a perfect description. of what
Okay,
he
so the
was.
first
Yeah.
episode of that
Like-
70s show was 1998. So
Well,
he
he
would have
was-
been 3 years into that.
Yeah, so like
3 years-
he was like a name at that point. He wasn't
Yeah,
famous.
he was
yet.
a big enough name to where
Because, like,
he
my-
should not have been
Is it
able to
sad that
play
that
a Texas
that when I
Ranger.
realized that show came out much later that I was so confused. I was like, man, these guys still look so young.
Yeah.
Like I saw like Ashton Kutcher in a movie or something, and I was like, I like, remember like struggling in my mind. There was like wires that weren't connecting. I was like, what's happening? How is he?
It makes no sense.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, surely Topher Grace is dead.
Yeah, then he plays a weird geeky Venom in Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
that,
well,
was
that was-
such a bad casting choice.
Wait, have you seen the new Venom trailer?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, I'd see it because Tom Hardy's in it doing weird voices.
Yeah.
All right,
You know
guys.
how I can.
You know I can't make it. You know,
Oh
Actually,
my
Forrest,
God.
Tom Hardy.
Look at Ashton Kutcher. He looks like such a little like look at his little pink Kool-Aid lips.
He's a
And
little
oh,
fairy.
he's the
Usher
guy.
Usher looks like a mariachi.
Yeah, he does look
Like-
like what is up with his hat?
Yeah, like he doesn't
don't
look like
know,
a
man.
ranger.
The guy to the left of
Dylan
Usher, he's like that's the guy who's always been on the brink of being somebody I know his name.
Dylan. I think his name's like Dylan something.
Yeah, he's like been on the brink for his whole career of me knowing who he is, but I see him.
Oh,
in,
yeah,
like,
I
I
can
see him in
see
so
that
many
you
little
read
parts, and
the,
I'm like, I don't know.
I think he was in like one of those doctor shows. I think he was like
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Grey's
sure.
Anatomy
Like
kind of.
that.
That is like the but like that's the problem. Like
You can't cast any of those people as
Yeah,
Texas
exactly.
Rangers.
Bringing it back full circle, there is a problem where Hollywood gets these people in these roles, and it just is ridiculous.
Dylan,
Okay,
Mc-
wait.
Dylan McDermott.
Speaking of Dylan
What
McDermott,
did I say?
you said Usher.
I think his name was also Usher.
Usher.
So that's a great name. Do you mind if I borrow it?
That's a great stage name. I think people will believe it. I
Can't have those people.
I will say the one guy who has the ability to be like the super handsome good guy, and then also like I believe him as like the mechanic is Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
I could believe that.
No,
Yeah.
he has that guy. Plus, he actually gains weight for his roles when he needs
Yeah,
to.
and it's like he's got like that stocky kind of build.
I mean, I would also say that like maybe Chris Pratt could pull it off if
Yeah.
he like didn't
Well,
like
Chris,
if he
Chris
kind of
Pratt
wanted to
actually
go back.
does do that stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like he owns a farm. And,
So I could see that.
yeah. So he wouldn't be bad in
So
like-
when they
no,
cast
but Chris,
him,
Chris Pratt, there's one thing he can never do, and is be an unlikable character.
yeah, it's true.
Like he is the most likable guy.
True.
yeah, Chris
But
Pratt's
he
pretty
did.
He literally
mean-
is just like the nicest guy.
It was.
But it's
the,
not like the flowers nice, like like
Yeah.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Like he's like the nice where it's like
He
he's-
was in
he's
the
a guy I wanna
Magnificent
talk to.
Seven though.
Yeah.
When they redid that, that was a pretty good. Like
The Seven.
yeah, when they cast him as a cowboy, I was like, okay, like I
Yeah,
can see it.
he's decent. He was. I didn't think that was a great movie, but like he's decent in that kind of role.
I like the movie.
he's
just 'cause
got to
it was
be
a Western
he's got to be
and-
like the fast talking likable guy who's maybe a little bit on the edge, Or he's always got to be bordering likable. Like you can't have he can't be playing a guy that's just like totally not a good guy or just like a jerk.
They tried to make him a little like roguish in that one, you know, like not really like his natural suit because he's kind of like goofy, but like he pulled it off like decent.
He's somewhat goofy in that movie.
Yeah, he's somewhat like, but like I think that just like infuses.
Yeah. Did y'all ever watch the movie with whatchamacallit? Him and
Usher?
no,
Was it called?
what's her
Ranger?
name?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
No.
I'm just naming random people. She's very pretty still.
No, the space
I
movie.
saw her.
The space
I saw her in
movie.
Ant-Man and the Wasp too. She looks great. I was very
Really?
surprised. Yeah.
She's in the X-Men movies. I don't know why I'm losing the actors'
Halle Berry?
names. No, the X-Men movie. She's younger. She plays the blue chick.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah,
Passengers.
there you go, Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, Passengers. Did y'all ever see that?
I was gonna say Sienna Miller. No, I didn't see that.
No.
It was a
She's a
horror
good
movie
actor.
too.
It was good.
I would. I liked
I mean,
it.
Forrest
Really?
is he likes romantic movies though.
Yeah,
It's not a romantic movie though.
Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it doesn't.
I
look
mean,
like
it's got a little bit of it, but it's
Doesn't
more
look
like
their love story.
actually Chris Pratt is kind of. I mean, he's still likable in the movie, but he is kind of an asshole in that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that.
probably why the movie didn't do well.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, stop trying to make me hate Chris Pratt.
Well, I think that movie didn't do well because like when you get 2 stars, like those 2 stars are like they are like the kind where like they're so big and they're so like it just seems like anything that they do is gold, and so I think like the people just got them and they're like, we did it. You
Yeah,
know?
right. Movie made.
Movie made. They're like,
Well, also, I
put
think
some
maybe
blue
people,
screen
people
on it.
might have been mad about that movie too, because that was when him and Anna Faris broke up, and they actually, I don't, it wasn't her fault, but
what, is there
some people,
speculation?
some people blamed Jennifer Lawrence for that.
How could you blame J Lo?
You know, I have to say,
She's cool too.
I like her like I like her like
I don't know. She's too
personality.
political now.
Yeah, well, maybe I don't know. I haven't seen her in that
What does she
arena.
say?
She's taking a year off of acting so that she can make change in politics.
I had to say, she's
I was
taking,
like, no. Just stick to acting.
I think actually I think she's taking a year off acting and learn a little more about acting because I mean, her performances in the Hunger Games they're bad. That's bad.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her, and I mean,
I actually really like those books too, so I was
I think-
disappointed with those
I like her-
movies.
I think David O. Russell got the best out of her in those 2 movies. But
Yeah, I was gonna name just David O. Russell movies.
yeah, I think she was great in both those. I agree.
Which,
Like,
if you
which
don't know David O.
ones?
David O. Russell directed Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle.
Yeah.
Those are 2 movies that.
I still need to see
And Joy.
American Hustle.
He actually directed Joy
American
as
Hustle.
well.
I didn't see that for some reason.
I didn't see that either. Yeah,
Weird, right?
I know.
It's because I figure we would definitely see that, and then neither
Because
of us.
we both love David O. Yeah, I don't know why
What
I
is
didn't see that.
what is Joy
It,
about?
it came out at like a perfect time where it's just like I just didn't want to go to
Yeah.
movies. I was just like remember being like,
Yeah.
I don't want to see this.
There's something about that movie that it seems like it should be something that I would be into.
That was
but it just
actually a
wasn't.
movie that I didn't want to see. I think based on the it was like one of the movies that the advertisement didn't make me want to see it at all.
Yeah,
like it
there's-
didn't convince me.
There was something bad about it. It was like about some chick who she's like miserable and she invents something and gets
Yeah.
like money or something. Like that was the basic plot.
Yeah, his movies are really never about
Interesting.
like
Yeah.
a lot. He's just a funny writer.
I'll tell you what. When we were in the last movie we went and watched, I don't remember which one it was that we went
Mission
and watched
Impossible-
last.
Mission
Okay,
Impossible?
yeah. So that one,
Yeah,
watching the previews before that
that was fun.
made me not ever want to go watch a movie.
Yeah.
It made you want to run away from a movie like Tom Cruise runs
Yeah.
Mission Impossible the whole
It was
time.
outrageous, man. It was just like it was that Meg movie. It was
Whoa.
another Predator
Leave
movie.
Meg out of this.
It was another Predator movie.
You can I'll accept that one.
I
Not
mean,
Meg.
what, did they show a preview for
You're
another
talking about the
Terminator
Great
movie
Statement.
yet?
For which one?
Terminator. Or did I just read that?
You just read that. They didn't show that.
Okay. So what other ones did they have?
It was Predator, just name like a movie from like 5 years ago. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, Godzilla. That was one.
Yeah,
for
they're
sure.
making another Godzilla movie.
Although that one I would actually see. I said
It just looked boring to me.
that's poopy, but it's my kind of poopy.
What?
It just
Godzilla?
looked like there
Yeah.
was nothing that humans could do at that point. There was
Yeah,
all-
but that's like the Planet of the Apes, and it was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
I don't like Planet of the Apes though.
You don't
Really?
like Planet of the Apes?
Dude, that was a
don't.
good trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure
You
they
know,
were good movies, but I don't like the whole premise of it.
I don't like this
I will
whole
say-
planet run by a bunch of apes.
Forrest
made-
sees it. He says unironically, "These damn dirty apes."
It made more sense to me, like when I finally got to the end of one of the movies, and it was like the humans didn't die because of the apes like taking over. It was more because of like a disease that wiped them out.
Yeah.
Like that, I was like,
I think
okay,
the first one
understand
was still the
because
best.
like at first when I was thinking
James
about the
Franco?
older movies,
don't
I
know,
thought
the
it was
second
just
was
that the
really good.
apes took over, and I was like, there's just no way.
I mean,
Oh, my favorite
I would have
line
wiped y'all out.
somebody ever said about that movie was Patrice O'Neal. He's like, I don't like that movie because of the white arrogance. Like, after, like, the bridge fight, James Franco goes to the monkey and he's like, you're free now. He's like, you're free now? I just fought for that. What do you mean you free me? It's like, white arrogance.
that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Is Patrice O'Neal dead?
Yeah,
Yeah, man,
sadly.
it's
Dang it.
brutal, dude.
Patrice
He would have been
O'Neal, the legend.
perfect for this time.
Yeah.
It was like-
Man, I got like, I was so, I mean, it was really a tragedy to me because like I had just like, the year he died was like the year that I spent like a year listening to all his Opie and Anthony appearances,
Oh yeah,
and then he died on me.
man. Yeah,
No one ever talked
him,
about me in that.
Geraldo.
Oh, he's dead?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ge-
he OD'd,
Geraldo
man.
died a long time ago. He died before
Yeah.
Patrice.
Yeah, he OD'd.
Man, that's like the sad thing about comedy, though. It's like,
Yeah, those
like the
people are
sad
pretty
thing.
dark, man.
yeah, I mean, like Patrice O'Neal doesn't seem that dark to me, but a lot of them, like you listen to them and like you can tell, it's like, man, that does not come from a happy place. Like there's
Yeah.
some guys, there's only like a couple guys that I'm like, I think that guy could actually be a happy person, and he's
Yeah.
just likes making jokes. But
Probably Jim Gaffigan. Like,
Yeah.
he's funny. He just makes fun of being a family guy.
Yeah, well, I think they're out there. Like, I think Brian Regan is also another guy
Yeah.
who like doesn't.
Well, and plus, y'all probably don't listen to as much, but like growing up here, like Bill Engvall, Jeff
Yeah.
Foxworthy,
Yeah.
you know, like guys
Yeah.
like that. Like, you
But
know,
that's like that's not to be like because you're from the South, you're a family. You know what I mean? Like, but it's
Yeah.
just like
Those
it's
are
kind of
funny
expected
guys,
of-
though.
Yeah, they are funny, but their brand of humor isn't like it's just not like
Well,
this worldwide thing. to
I
me,
also,
you know?
well, they're
I
actually.
don't know, man, dude.
They're actually
They
bigger.
do
think
they
they're
do
bigger?
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do better than most other comedians.
thing-
They're rich.
Yeah, the thing is like I think what you see, like what I see is like there's like in critical circles, like that kind of dark attitude gets like rewarded more. You know, like
Yeah.
when we're talking about Pulp Fiction versus Forrest Gump, like that's what it is. It's like people respect a movie more because it's darker. They think like that somehow makes it more true, and they feel the same way about comedy.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well,
like
and plus
if
it's-
you're being like
The darker comedy does well on the coasts.
yeah.
But if you want to appeal to the most people, you do what they do. They appeal to everybody in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
And everybody outside of the major cities on the coast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's true, but it's sad though because you're like, I mean it's just sad. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, like, you know, like that guy was so funny. Patrice O'Neal, like,
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
he's
He would have
Did
killed
he-
it in this time
Did
too.
he OD or did he just like?
No,
No,
he had diabetes.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say because he was just a bigger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had diabetes, and I think that might have been that was part of it, but I think he also had. I don't think the diabetes killed him though.
I think so. I think it like he went into like a coma. Like it was health complications due to that. Like
Okay, I got you. It might have been like a stroke or something though,
Yeah.
caused by that.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was anything like that. But
But you know that was the problem. I mean, he even talked about that in his comedy. He's like, "Look, I'll lose a foot."
yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, when he
He's
was
like,
at
"I
the
don't think that-"
roast, he was like, he's like, you guys are brutal. You're making fun of you're making fun of my diabetes. I could lose a toe.
Yeah, I mean, crazy man.
speaking of,
Yeah. Well, actually,
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if we could really work back in.
yeah,
any
we're
of
not
that stuff
really.
now.
Well, definitely not.
I thought that was enjoyable.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
We're actually getting close to an hour anyway. Closing remarks.
So, real quick,
Speaking
For
of-
bring it
whoever
back to
made-
politics.
For
real
whoever
quick.
made it through to the end of this, let me know if you enjoyed me,
Hey, listen,
the
this
guest star.
this thing is I hope I really don't want to try getting more feedback. This actually it is
This is a fan vote. If you want me to stay on, let me know.
Already know what you should have said was say nothing.
But you can yeah. But
Be
you
the
can
silent majority.
you can refer to me as you.
Yeah.
And so Just let me know if you want me to stay on.
But don't tell anybody. Like,
Yeah.
wish that secretly in your hearts, and then we'll come evaluate next week whether or not we felt that.
Please.
And to you, any last words?
Oh, I'm good.
Always a strong finish. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to support us, you can, or contact us, you can email us at thedeadendradio@gmail.com, or you can contact us at Twitter at deadendradio. Nope, got it wrong again. It's at Dead Radio USA. Thank you.